Alright, so we're going to be installing this, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to get this running. You just copy through here, clone the depository, very straightforward. Then you get a cd into the directory. You got to make the script executable if not ready, and then we have to run this as root, by the way, because it does need permission to run. So let's initiate the install, right? So first thing we want to do is we want to clone it. Alright, we got it cloned. Now we cd into MemScanner. Now we do chmod plus x MemScanner. And now we have to run this as sudo to get this running. But before we do that, we gotta run the game, right? So I'm gonna be testing this on a game called RimWorld, right? And we're gonna be adding some gold to our account, to our storage, so that we can basically add any items in game. So let's figure out what pip the processor is running in, right? I usually run NVIDIA like that. This NVIDIA SMI command. If you have your NVIDIA driver working, you can tell that it's like I'm running on a really old laptop, I'm CUDA 11 because this is like the only driver that operates on my video card. So after you run this command, you get your pip ID, which is this right here for the game RimWorld. Now if you don't have NVIDIA, you can run at htop, right? Htop is going to give you like what pip ID. See how weird the pip ID is? You want this number so that you can memory inject the game, right? So now that we have the pip ID, let's copy from here, because on htop you're going to have to write it down or you can't copy. So that's why I like to use this command, NVIDIA SMI. You copy the pip ID, right? Like so. Now you go back to your memory scanner. You do a sudo python, and then you put your pip ID here, right? Because that's where the game is running in. And now let's check the game, right? You want to make sure that's what we want. Like I want the gold here. Like I have 500 gold pieces. Now let's give our neighbors some gold for free, right? Like I got 500. Let's go ahead and give our neighbors like 200, right? But before we do that, we gotta search for 500, right? So let's do 500, because that's the goal in our storage. Before we mess with the game, before we even change the value in game, we gotta do a memory search. So now I have to put my password in, and now what we got is it's searching for the memory. See, like it found a bunch of candidates. So here's how it works. If you want to freshen your memory search, you can use it. You can search for a new specific memory, a specific value. To refine the scan is basically you're refining as the memory is changing, and then you can modify the memory, or you can freeze it, or you can exit the program. Now what we're searching for is 500, because that's how much gold we have in game, right? So let's give our neighbors some gold, right? We're gonna give our neighbors like 200 gold. And now we're just gonna run the game. And you see how like the little guy put some gold in it? Like this guy, he put some gold in a pot. And now I have like 300 gold. So what do we do now? What do we do? Well, we go back to the program, and then we do an R. First action is an R, and the value changed to what? What did the value change to after we gave our neighbors 200 gold, right? So the value now is about 300, as you can see right here. See, the value is 300. Now what do? Well, we find the scan to R for 300. Now we have two active candidates. That's the memory we're trying to search. We want to find at least 2 or 1 candidate. Sometimes some games there's 4, but you want to thin down the candidate down to 2 because that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Now, how do we cheat the game? Well, we do modify the 2 values back to 500, and then you can tell, like, look, successfully modify 2 locations, meaning that we just double our goal back to the initial value of 500. So we were able to allocate the memory, we were able to double, and we were able to basically put 200 gold for free for our neighbors. And now you see how now we have. Now you can freeze the value. So as you're giving free stuff to your neighbors, you can freeze that value. You can freeze your food value. Like you can search for any items in game. As long as you have 2 active candidates, you can modify. You can freeze that memory cell so that you're constantly having that specific item. Now, if you find another item in game, you can just click tab and you can push new, and then new, you're going to have to specify a new value or a specific item in game, and then you have to thin down that value down to 2 candidates, and then you can modify that value or you can freeze it, so that way you can double or always have an infinite loop of values or items in game. So that's how this program works.